Hey everybody, Bernie Gallerani bringing you another episode of Success is Not Convenient. We are going to talk today about righteousness, being self-righteous, and here's the most important part, is being right in your business or even in your life, is being right stifling your growth of your company. I have found for the 20 years that I've been doing it, I've been right for so long and my business has hampered its growth. We're going to talk about that on Success is Not Convenient, and buckle up. This is going to be a lot of fun. One of the things that really has stood out to me the most is, are we focused on being right or are we focused on growing our business? And I'm going to go into some detail, is that are you focused on that your righteousness and how you believe things operate is so solid that you can't see past the fact that it's also preventing you from growing? So the thing I want you to write down first is my righteousness holding me back from the growth that I've always dreamed of? See, it's pretty easy to be right, and I can share I was right about a lot of things for a lot of years, and I say that a little smirky and smuggy in that I've thought I was right about a lot of things until I realized that actually that righteousness that I had prevented me from growing the business as I had always dreamed it to be. And I'd bang my head against the table and say, I don't understand why the business doesn't grow at the level I'd like to see it happen, until finally, and it took a long time, this was a lot of small realizations, is that no matter how right I feel about something, it's not scalable. So here's what I'm saying. I could be right, and I was right. I could be righteous, I should say, and feel even today that I'm right. But I also know that my righteousness and how I feel about how something should be done doesn't mean it's the best thing for my company. That's a lot. That's a big mouthful for people to really think about. I want to ask you this question. What is going on inside your company that you're standing in the way of because you're either right or you're uncomfortable with making a move, another decision that could cause some sort of discomfort? 21, or let's just call it 20 years ago or so approximately, I was challenged to hiring my first personal assistant. And when I thought about, I was in Palm Desert, California at the time, I had a conversation with some very successful leaders in the real estate industry, and they said, hey, it's time for you to hire a personal assistant. Oh my gosh, the turmoil that I went through and the justification of spending the money hiring that assistant was unbearable for me at the time. Now, I've grown from that. I have lots of people that work within the companies today, but I had to work myself through that. And so I hired the person, whatever. It served for the time that in particular individual was there. But what I did was I started getting really comfortable with saying, hey, I can just replace them now because I feel comfortable with it. So where are you uncomfortable, but you know there's a need? Where are you holding on to your money instead of reinvesting in your business? I'm going to say this again. Where are you holding on to your personal income instead of reinvesting in good people? Why are you holding on to the few dollars that you think is a lot instead of investing so you can multiply that 5 times? And so what I learned by this was I was holding on to the little money that I was making at the time because I didn't want to have an assistant so I could 5 times that income. And then once I convinced myself of that, after I had the person and my production then skyrocketed, I realized the next hire that I had, I wasn't as concerned about it. Why did I have to be so right that it actually stifled my growth? And then somewhere I came to terms with the reality that I have to do this and take this risk. What risk out there do you have to take or you should take in order to double, triple, quadruple, or even 10 times your business? And as I've gone through these years of growing, hiring good people, putting people in seats, it still is challenging to continue to think about how much money I have to spend every month in payroll. Just so you know, it's in the 6-figure plus range of what the monthly payroll is today. But in the old days, in the days 20 and a half years ago, it didn't feel at all acceptable. It felt very foreign and unnatural to me, and actually made me curl up and hide a little bit about even thinking about that decision. Today, there's people that get hired in and out of this company. I don't even know who they are when they get hired. They're just new employees that come in and out of the building, and I get a chance to be blessed, enjoyed that they're here, but I've grown through that. Where in your life do you feel like you have to grow through that a little bit? I'd be interested to hearing some comments of where you're most challenged. It's almost like burning inside of you that you understand that you have to make this change, but yet You're just afraid to do it. And if that's you, it's okay, because being afraid is natural. Being right about something can stump you. So ask yourself, am I right? Am I scared? I love the people who sit there and go, well, I just don't want to grow my business that big. Why? It's because sometimes we have a relation in our brain that we think we grow the business, we got more problems. That's not true. So we have to get that out of our head. Well, gosh, if I have more employees, I take bigger risk. Risk and reward. You've heard that, right? Take a little bit of risk, you get a better reward. So just be careful with the story you're telling yourself of what that risk factor looks like for you. And as I've grown through these last few years, I remember hiring a person who's still here today. It's been 10 years, where it was the very first person that was our ops manager, helped us run the company and build the company with us. And that person is still here today. And I remember the challenge, the emotional struggle of even wrapping my mind around paying that person. They did a fantastic job and have done continual fantastic job with our company. What emotion do we go through in making these tough decisions? And once I made the decision and we moved forward and it was okay, everything was all right, it was moving forward, it was becoming profitable, the business continued to keep succeeding as we built this thing and continued to keep moving it forward. And so I reflect a little bit, and I want to share it with you that no matter what stage you're at in business, if you always will be a growth-minded person and not be a righteous person about who you think you are versus who you would like to be. You know, I did a video one time about kind of doing a visualization of who you would like to be in your business. And I did this 20 years ago, and it was so helpful of dreaming of what I could be had I not had any limitations in my life. If everything worked in my favor, and I'll challenge you with saying that. Write down, if everything worked in my favor, if there wasn't any obstacles, and it was just all this perfect setup, somebody saw it, I saw it, it was just so easy to accomplish. Like, I'm just going to put this person here, I'm going to put this person here. I mean, I got plenty of money. I'm going to pay this salary, and I'm going to have this, I'm going to have that. If you knew nothing would fail, what kind of business could you build? See, it's the thought of the negative side of building the business that paralyzes our decision making and allows us to just accept small. Easy. My mentor said to me last year, actually it was the beginning of this year, and I was asking him some questions, and I've shared this on videos before, and I was frustrated with some of the growth, lack of, and he shared some things with me, and he goes, well, do you remember when you started the business and the risk you took? I said, sure. And he says, do you still take that risk? And I said, no. And he says, well, you're complacent and comfortable. And I said, well, how do I get out of it? He goes, you have to take a risk, but that's going to make you feel uncomfortable. It took about 6 months, and it paralyzed me to think about what I would have to do in order to go to the next level that I felt. And as my company has grown and reaching the bigger heights of the things that I dream about, like you dream, I dream about these really great things inside my company and what we could do with all the great realtors out there and all the opportunities that we have for realtors, and how do we create such a great program that realtors would just really clamor to be around what it is that we're doing. How can we support these people at a high level? How do we continue to invest millions of dollars into attracting clients into our company and having these great agents work with it? It's tough. You know, my business is okay where it is. Why do I feel like I have to grow? We have to be careful, like what stories go on inside of our head about being just satisfied with where we are. If that's you, I'd like to hear a comment in the comment section. If you're the kind of person that says, man, I really want to go, but I'm paralyzed right now. Welcome to the club. Welcome to every entrepreneur that ever has started a business, because that's normal. But the more you grow, the smaller a group of people you now are in a club with. And the only reason why the group is small is because everybody else became paralyzed at a level where they couldn't see a way out of where they were, and they were just like, this is just the way it is. Or the story they tell themselves is, God, I don't want to be greedy. God, I got a pretty good life. I drive a nice car. I got some money in the bank. I'm happy. But yet in their head, they're dreaming of what could have been. What could have been? What could I be? God, I'd like to do that. You ever do that where you look at people and go, man, I think I could have built a business like that. God, what a lie. You can, but you won't, because you're paralyzed because of the decisions and the investment that you'd have to make within your business for you and your family. Boy, nothing is what a great honor. And I'm going to tell you this, to be able to have a life where you're financially set. You're driving anything you want to drive. You're living anywhere you want to live. You're going on any vacation you want to live in. You're staying at every 5-star resort. You're eating at all the best restaurants. And you're going, yeah, I can just continue to do that. And that's fine if that's what you want to do. But my bet and my speculation in this conversation for you that are watching, for those who I'm talking to, this is who I'm talking to. For those that inside your head, you go, no, I think I'm even better than that. No, I think I can even take it further. This is who this is for. So here's the question. Why are you not? Are you righteous? Are you right? Is your righteousness preventing you from growing? Is it your fear that's preventing you from growing? Is it your comfort of saying, I don't want to lose anything that I have? So here's what my mentor said, and I loved it, and it made me change my mind about where I want to go in the trajectory of my business. And he said, remember this, Bernie. He goes, you've built a really great business. Don't ever risk your retirement, but be willing to give up your income to grow your business. And I pondered that for so long, and I thought, I think he's right. I think that I'm okay to go to work every day for the next year to 2 years for free if I can build something that ultimately in the long run gets me what I want to be fulfilled by in the next step. Because every step's going to be a different, like what they say, that every level's another devil. Every step and every growth step, I believe, is an accomplishment, then a destruction. And what I mean is you have to kill that, smash that, and move on. And so I'm ready to go to that next level. So the question is, what are we willing to give up? Who do we need to hire? Why are we preventing that hire? Is it financial? Well, you don't understand. I got a lot of debt. Pay it off. Figure it out. Everybody has a story. Very few people, remember, it gets really narrow at the top. And the only reason why it's smaller at the top, it's because down here, everybody else is using a reason why they can't. Very few people continue to keep working why they can. And what are they willing to give up? And I'll just end it with this. What are you willing to give up to go to the next level of your business? What are you willing to sacrifice to go to the next level of your business? So these were things that I had to go through recently, and I'm going through them this year, in that I have to give up some stuff. I'm going to work for free completely to take the business to the next level, hiring the right people, paying those kinds of salaries of the people that take it to where they need to go. Are you willing to do that to go to the next level? Guys, I hope you found value in this video today. That's the goal today, is to, and every day that we bring these videos to you, is how do you find value in yourself, the growth of your company, and at the end of the day, are you going to sit there and go, I wished I had done it? I wished I had made those sacrifices when I was younger and more energetic? That's a good question to ask yourself. I wished I had done it versus, hey, I did it. Hope everyone has a great day.